Best. Ready? Good evening. Today we are concerned with our grammar. We are concerned with the meaning into words upper intermediate book. We already completed our first unit. From there we had the three chapters. The first was Grandmother by Ray Yombier. Second was About Love by Anton Chekhov. And third was The Lamentation of the Old Pensioner by William Butler Yeats. So we did all those three, and today we are going to study this meaning into words first and the second chapter. As I cannot make you practice here in the classroom as in the physical classroom, so hope you'll practice these things at your home. Let's start. Now, what is this book in concern to? This book is in concern to grammar. What is this book teaching you actually is, it is teaching you to use the language in various different contexts. How to tell about the experience, how to tell about the desires, how to talk about the appearances, looks, how to describe some object, how to make requests. These are the contexts, and we are going to get the syntax of these contexts in this book. This book is actually trying to teach us what are the ways of using the language for certain context, for certain activities. Here we are given with the proposes and the syntax, the structure related to that propose, and also the words, the basic words that we need to describe that context. So in the first chapter, we are studying about the experience. That is, we are going to learn, we are learning how to talk about our experience. Now, before getting into the chapter, what do you mean by experience? What do you mean by experience? Experience means something that you have collected in your memory and you behave according to this influence, right? That means the work or the action have already completed, have ended, but the effect is still remaining in my head. For example, if I say, I have taught a computer, that means once I have taught a computer, I used to teach in classes how to use the computer. That is my experience. The event, the action of teaching computer has ended. It's finished. There is no more action going on. But the effect of that action is still with me. I am still carrying the effect of that action, right? So in experience, what happens is, works or the actions are over, but you are left with the residue. You are left with the effect. For example, now I am walking on the road and there are several dogs. Among them, 10 times only the black dog bit me. Now, the action of biting is over, but the effect is with me. Now, what I say is, black dogs bite. This is my experience, right? I learned this lesson from my experience. How it happened? The action is completed. Action is over. Action is already finished. But the effect is carried on. Effect remains there. So this is what we call the experience. Now, while we are talking about the experience, we use the perfect structure of the tenses. We use present perfect and past to explain, to talk about our experience. First, let's know how to talk about the experiences and achievements. To talk about your experience and achievement, how we do it is, I have worked as a waiter. Now this means the working is already over. Now I am not working as a waiter. But once I have worked as a waiter, the effect is with me, action is completed. So just to list out the experience, we use the present perfect. Present perfect tense. Why we use the present perfect tense? We use this to list achievements and experience. What is the structure of present perfect tense? That is subject plus has, have plus V3 plus object. We see I have V3 object, right? Now, whenever we are simply mentioning our experience, we use this structure. This structure, present perfect structure, is used to convey the message where the work is already completed, work has been over, but the effect is still being carried. For example, I ate my food, right? I had my snacks half an hour ago. Still my belly is full. This means the work of eating is over, but the effect is still with me. I am not hungry yet. I am full bellied now, right? So what I say, I have had my snacks. This is the present perfect, where we talk about the completed action and the about the effect that is remaining. Here too we see the working as the waiter is over, but the effect, the experience is with him. So whenever we are supposed to list the achievement or experience, for example, I have won the best players trophy. I have won the best players trophy. The action of receiving that trophy, winning that trophy is over, but I have the effect. I know what it feels to win that trophy, right? So what I am doing here in the second case, I am listing out my achievements. I am listing my achievements. And in the first case, I am listing my experience. So whenever we are listing, we are mentioning about our achievement or the experience, we use the structure of present perfect. The examples given in your books are, I have worked as a waiter. I have plus worked is V3, right? Again, I have often been criticized. I have plus been is V3 of be verb, right? I have never had is the V3 of this, again V3 form, right? So have plus V3. We use have plus V3 to list out, to talk about the experience, the achievements, and this experience means the work is done, but the effect is carried on. Okay. After this, we are learning. Now we know how to mention the experience, right? But how to mention the detail of the experience, how to mention the detail of the achievement. For example, I have worked as a waiter while I was in Delhi. While I was in Delhi. Now what I am doing is I am adding 4 more details. I am adding the details to my listed experience. Let me rub this and make it clear so that it's clearly visible. Now, we know how to list the experience, right? After that, what we are learning is how to give the detail about that experience. For example, I stated my experience. I have worked as a waiter, right? This is my experience. And this experience is in present perfect. That means have plus V3, right? Now, this is how we mention our experience, but when I am supposed to mention also the detail of my experience, when I want to add the detail, to my experience, this is my experience and I want to elaborate this experience and mention the detail, when, where, how I worked as a waiter. Now what I should do is, I should add the simple past here. Simple past for the detail. For example, while I was in Bangalore. See, now this is simple past. Simple past is subject plus V2 plus object. Subject, V2, object, right? So what we are doing is, we are fusing the simple present and the simple past. Simple past talks about the detail of the experience and present perfect talks about the experience and achievements, right? In your book it's given, I studied engineering while I was at university. For example, let's talk about another achievement. I said, I have won the best players trophy. This is my achievement. This is my achievement. Now I want to add detail to my achievement. What I say is, while I was with Danusa Tigers. Okay, this is the name of a club. Say this is the name of a club. Let it be the name of the club. Now what I am doing is, I am telling my experience with the help of present perfect, but I am adding the details to those experiences. I am elaborating and clarifying more about the experience and achievement with the help of simple past. For example, I have taught computer when I was in my college, when I was a student. What I am doing is, I am mentioning my experience and also adding detail to this experience. I mention the experience in present perfect and I mention the detail in simple past. So this is how we mention the experience and also the detail, give the detail to our experience. This is all that we need to know in the first 2 points. That is, one, we learned to express the experience or the achievement, that is that is present perfect, and then you add the detail with simple past, right? For example, if I say I have flown a helicopter, I have flown a chopper. Now this is the experience, this is the achievement, right? Now what I am doing is I am just mentioning my experience, mentioning my achievement with the help of with the help of present perfect. And if I want to add the detail, if I want to elaborate it, if I want to clarify it more, if I want to stretch it further, what I do is I add the detail with the help of simple past. I have flown a chopper when I was in the airport, while I was at the airport. So what I am doing is explaining those. After this, what we need to know is how to explain, how to talk about the new experiences, peculiar, unique experiences. For example, this now in the third part, what we are going to study is we are going to study how to talk about the unique experiences, peculiar experiences, the new experiences. For example, I have the experience of longest, say in your book it's given, right? The most interesting country I have ever visited is Morocco. The most interesting country I have ever visited is Canada, Morocco, whatever the name is, right? The most interesting country I have ever visited is Morocco. What is it doing? It is actually with the help of present perfect tense talking about the new experience. Here we see the present perfect, and before that we see the superlative, the form that is talking about the quality, the state, right? For example, the most embarrassing situation I have ever faced is the online classes. Now what I am doing is I am talking about my peculiar, unique experiences. These type of experiences never does not occur randomly in everyday life. These happens once in a time, once in a blue moon. Sometimes these experiences happens. So how we talk about these experiences is we talk about these experiences also with the help of present perfect, but before that we come and mark the quality of that experience, right? For example, if I say this is the first time I have ever lectured in front of the camera, right? Here what I am doing is I have lectured in front of the camera. This is my experience, right? And this experience is preceded by the quality, right? By something that is marking the quality of that experience. This is the first time. This is the most interesting. What we are doing is we are qualifying that experience. So what we do while talking about the new experience is we mention the new thing first, it precedes, and then comes the experience in present perfect. After this, what we need to know is how to talk about the familiar and unfamiliar situations. This is talking about the peculiar new experiences, and now we are learning how to talk about the familiar and unfamiliar situation. For example, now familiar situation means to which we are habituated, and unfamiliar means to which we are not accustomed, or we are not acclimatized, or we are not habituated, right? So how to talk about these type of situations which are familiar and unfamiliar to us? Like for example, we teachers before this lockdown, before this pandemic of COVID-19, we were familiar to the physical classrooms where students were present, they were visible, they were sitting in front of us. But now we come and encounter this unfamiliar situation where we are not talking to the students, rather we are talking to the camera. We are the non-living thing has been the entity that is listening to us, right? So here we have the familiar situation and unfamiliar situation. So how do we talk about this? I am not used to the online classes. What I am doing is I am not used to the online classes. What I am doing is MR plus used to plus, what is it? Whenever it is used to plus, various different verbs can pop up. Here V1 can come, V4 can come, also being plus V3 can come. Being plus V3 can come, okay? But we definitely have this used to talk about the familiar situation, and if we add not used to, then we are talking about the unfamiliar condition. For example, I am not used to giving lectures online. I am not used to take online classes. This is the use of V1. I am talking about the unfamiliar situation. How we use V1? I am not used to take online classes. I am not used to taking online classes. I am using either V1 or V4. Anything can be used. But to talk about the unfamiliar, we use not used to, and to talk about the familiar condition, we use used to. So this is how we talk about this. I am not used to being stared at. Here to what I am doing is I am using being plus V3, talking about the scenario that I cannot stand. So this is how we talk about the familiar and unfamiliar scenario. For the familiar we use used to, for unfamiliar we use not used to, and that can be followed by V1, either V1 or V4 or being plus V3. This is all about the first chapter that we need to know. This chapter is teaching us various different contexts of experiences. Let's revise what are the context and the syntax that we learned. Number one, what we learned? We learned that simply to list the experience or achievement, we use the simple present tense. For example, I have worked as a waiter. I have taught computer. Here we have plus V3, that is present perfect. So listing out the experience and achievements, have plus V3. Now adding the detail to this experience, I have won a best players trophy when I played against India. When I played against India. Now what I am doing is, I am adding the detail to my experience and achievement. And experience and achievement with the present perfect, details with the simple past. After that, we learned to talk about the new unique experiences. To do this, we again use the present perfect tense, but that is followed by the quality markers, right? That marks the quality, that marks the status of your experience. Like for example, the most embarrassing situation I have ever encountered is teaching online, right? What I am doing is, I am talking about the new condition. This is the first time I have ever taught to a camera. What I am doing is, I am talking about my peculiar experience. I am talking about my new experience, right? How we do is, the present perfect is followed by the quality indicating phrases, or the group of words that marks the quality of your experience, that gives the intensity to the experience. And in the third part, in the fourth part, what we learned is how to talk about the familiar and unfamiliar situation. For the familiar situation, we used is, am, are plus used to, and this can be followed either by V4, V1 or being plus V3. And for the unfamiliar situation, we just use the negating word that is not in front of used to. So this is how we talk about our experiences. Now, if you can write a paragraph about your experience and want me to check and have the feedback, you can mail me. My mail ID is lokkoirala@gmail.com. So now you can write a paragraph or an essay about your experience and you can mail me. I'll check that and give you the feedback. This is my mail ID. So you can note it down, and whoever does the exercise, they can mail me. They can send me the email. Your homework is to write a paragraph describing the most happy or sad or embarrassing experience of your life. This is your task, and you write about either the most sad, happy, whatever experience you have. Write a paragraph and mail me. Now, for the second chapter, what we are going to do is, we are learning how to talk about the appearance, how to talk about the looks, how to describe what an object appeals to our eyes. Here we are talking about the visual perception. We are talking about the perception of sight. we see something, how to describe those things that appeals to our eyes. That is what we are going to look or say learn in this chapter. And the very first thing that we are learning is talking about the appearance of people or thing. Talking about the appearance of people or thing. Now we are first learning how to talk about what the people looks like, what they seem like, or how they appeal to the visual things. Now first thing we need to know is use of looks like. Looks like, we can use this phrase to talk about the appearance. The second we can use this word, and we can use as if, as though. As if or as though. So these words can be used to talk about the appearance. For example, I say, student looks like a monkey. Student looks like a monkey. What I am doing is, I am indicating the look, the appearance of my student. So here what we need to notice is, with looks like we use noun. With this word we use noun. Now I say, student look terrific. Now what I do with the look, I am using adjective. I am using the adjective. We need to notice these things. We have three different phrases or three different types of words to talk about the look. But with the look like, we use noun. With the looks, we use adjective. And with as if and as though, we use the complete sentence. Students look as if it is a monkey. Students look as if it is a monkey. Students look as though they are a monkey. So what I am doing here is, I am using these words to talk about the look, the appearance, the first visual impression. But with the look like, I am using the noun. With the looks, I am using adjective. With as if and as though are followed by the complete sentence. Let's look at the example. Students looks like a monkey. Looks like plus noun. Student looks terrific. Looks plus adjective. Student looks as though. Student looks as if or as though he is a monkey. Now what I am doing is, I am using noun with looks like, adjective with looks, and looks plus as if or as though is followed by the complete sentence. So this is how we talk about the appearance. We describe our impression, the visual impression. For example, this camera looks as if it is covered by the dust. Looks as if it is covered by the dust. See, looks as if is followed by the complete sentence. This camera looks like a gun. What is followed? Noun. This camera looks ugly. This camera looks disgusting. This camera looks awesome, beautiful. Right? I am using the adjective. This camera looks as if it is covered by dust. This camera looks as if it is very old. As if is followed by the complete sentence. That is in simple present, right? Or you can use other structures in some cases also. So this is all about today. Next class we are again talking about the second chapter, appearance, and few other structures from the second chapter. Thank you, class.